What now?
Well, we can inform the warden of the fact that it was Nihil pirates, and then we...
Well, I mean, you already told him it was pirates. We can just leave a note with the receptionist, right?
I guess Mina will make sure they know, or they get it. So then I suppose we should get on that investigation that we promised we were doing.
Yeah, I'm sure they have a base somewhere on the planet. They wouldn't probably go too far, would they? At least in the sector.
I mean, those path engines are quite strange.
I mean, what do you know about them?
Not much, honestly. I know that they can move their ships through hyperspace very strangely, very weirdly, but other than that, I don't know. They strike suddenly and disappear just as quickly.
It's great. It's great.
But after the Battle of Quetzal, I don't know. We know there's a lot of them, though we thought we had wiped them out. So this could just be a straggler who had escaped.
Should we start patrolling, or?
I think you need to rest, and perhaps we can meditate on it. Maybe there's some...
I can keep going. I'm good. I mean, if you're good, we can keep going today.
I don't know, what's the DM saying?
Kel is not good.
Kel's not good.
No.
I think we need to take a moment and regroup and listen to what the Force is telling us.
All right, let's head back to that place you've got set up.
And we head back to the temple. Because that's what it is, of course. It's a temple.
Mm-hmm. You mean we call it an embassy? It's the temple. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Jedi Temple on Cloud City.
So I feel like Kel's relationship with Lodee is very different than his relationship with Bekros. Because Bekros asks him a lot of questions and I think Bekros maybe wants Kel's approval on things. Like, knowing that Bekros is a teacher and has taught for a long time. And I think right now, Lodee is in the role that Kel is normally in, because Kel has had a rough day.
Yeah, that sounds right. So, Lodee, like, if you aren't listening about, taking a minute, regrouping, opening up to the Force, then I guess I could roll a check for it.
I think Kel is listening. Kel kind of wants to keep going, but knows better than that. So I think once they get back to the temple, he's going to try to take a minute and gather his thoughts and possibly sleep before they start anything.
Good.
It's convenient timing as well, because it's actually night on Cloud City as well. The sun is set, and you can see the stars from the various rooms in the Jedi Temple there, the embassy to Cloud City. And for all intents and purposes, it's the end of the day. There isn't much to be accomplished in the evening, so you're going to start tomorrow fresh and new. But what does the evening plan look like? Is there meditation? And if so, what does that look and feel like?
So for Kel, the reason Kel doesn't like busy places or cities, didn't like Coruscant, and even the construction here, is that loud and repetitive noises just set him on edge. So as they get back to the temple, he puts in his earplugs that he keeps with him, and they help him find himself. Like they weigh himself down in his own body, and he can like hear his heartbeat and hear his breathing, and he uses those sounds of himself to sort of calm himself down for the day. And traveling all over the place, time is weird. He doesn't know when the last morning he had was. So getting in the mindset of this is the time of day, it is time to calm down for the night, and that sort of stuff is what he tries to do here. And he tries to feel the Force around him in this strange place, and the feelings of the people around him and the people who built this and why they built it and what they wanted out of it and that sort of thing.
Awesome. Roll a Force die for me.
One dark.
One dark. So as Kel is centering himself and reaching out with the Force, he, despite having his earplugs in, there is a kind of rhythmic sound. It starts low, it's very bassy. He can kind of feel it more than hear it, and then it kind of grows, and it's this music, this heavy music is growing around him. It's close, it's within the city, it's surrounding him, and there's a moment of disquiet for Kel in this meditation as this music takes it over, and then it fades slowly back away from that.
I think as that happens, he switches his mode of meditation from calm, realizing himself meditation to using the Force to put his lightsaber in his hand, and he practices lightsaber forms.
And the music from within quiets, this heavy, repetitive loudness that's felt more than necessarily heard is calmed by that repetitive motion of the lightsaber forms, and dissipates quietly back into the night.
It's just replaced with that hum and buzz of the lightsaber swinging through the room.
Mm-hmm. And we swipe over to Lodee. What is she up to?
Lodee she has a data pad with lists and everything on it, and she's just sort of going through it, and she's just like, all right, that's been accomplished, that's been ordered. She writes down something about sound dampeners for the temple, and then she puts the data pad aside and sits down in her room cross-legged with her palms up, facing the wide window that faces the night sky out there, and just closes her eyes and opens up to the Force and breathes and relaxes.
What does Lodee's connection with the Force feel like for her?
Like vibrations, because I mean that's what I assume. She is a Mikian, so she has so much of that sixth sense unique to her species, so she feels it in sort of like vibrations through touch rather than sound, if that makes sense.
Yeah. All right, now it's your turn. Roll that Force die for me.
Okay, that is also a dark side point.
All right. So Lodee has her eyes closed, even though she's looking out at this window, and she's feeling the vibrations. And there's a moment while she's meditating and feeling out the vibrations of the Force where they pulse rhythmically in time with this music, this kind of heavy music that's there. And it feels, it's not so much heard as it is felt. It is coming from within, and as that becomes the focus of the meditation, the room begins to vibrate, and then the tower that you're in feels like the whole thing is shaking, and this rhythmic music pulsing feels as if it's enveloping the entire structure, the entire Cloud City. But as it becomes dramatically overwhelming, it fades again, and then Lodee's left in her room.
I put my hands down on the smooth floor and just sort of feel it and the realness and the stillness of it, and open my eyes. This might be a bigger problem than I initially surmised. Then I go to bed.
And both of you try and sleep through the night. Any maintenance rolls that we need to do for Kel?
Well, I'm sleeping, so I get my strain back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Upon waking up the next morning, I think he heads to the Fresher to see. He didn't even think about it last night to see what kind of damage was done. He was hit at least once, at least nicked by a vibroblade yesterday, but that didn't matter to him yesterday. So he's going to check out what he has going on, which is to mechanically 2 wounds worth of damage. And probably ask Lodee to give him a hand, because it's not particularly easy to patch yourself up all the time.
Why didn't you mention this when we were at the medical station?
There were bigger things at hand.
Yes, Bekros was considerably more injured than you were. However, still injured. Still required
It's just a cut. But it's nothing we can't take care of, right?
Yes, we could take care of it now.
Supplies here.
However, what if it had been infected?
I'm fine.
Kel, you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to take care of yourself before you can take care of others.
But I have to take care of my students before I take care of myself.
You can't take care of your students if you don't take care of yourself.
Well, I mean, look at it. It's just a little cut. Bekros was in a lot worse shape.
Yes, but the facility had enough resources to care for 2.
Right. I hear what you're saying. I understand. You got any gauze around here or anything?
Lodee opens a panel in the wall, and out comes a whole medical kit.
Oh, great. That'll make this a little bit easier. All right. How's Lodee's medicine?
I don't think I have a rank in that.
How's Lodee's intellect?
Looks like it's a 3.
Oh, okay. So we're equally intellectual. So it would be better for you to do the medicine check. What is the difficulty when I'm at 2 out of 13?
I think it's easy.
Yeah.
So 1 purple?
Yeah.
Alright, and a blue die since
Holding on to the one end of the gauze while it gets wrapped around my arm?
I think you can have the blue dice for the fact that you have a stock.
We have the stuff.
Yeah, you've got the right tool for the job.
Yep.
Alright, is that a full hand? All the dice?
I think that's good.
Okay.
Not good enough.
Nope.
What did we get?
We got 1 failure and 3 advantages.
Oh, so you can heal that strain that you already healed.
Yeah.
Or you can do something else with those advantages. I'm okay with that.
Well, we can talk while this is happening, and I probably get my wound dressed, but it's still not pleasant to move around. So I think there's some Nihil on Cloud City. Something happened in my meditation last night that makes me think there's somebody here.
I mean, it's certainly possible. It is a big city. There's lots of ports, and like on Coruscant, the lower you go, the seedier it gets.
Yeah. So last night while I was meditating, well, I should go back a little further. Yesterday when we were aboard that ship, these Nihil, they were blasting this music, this, I don't know, punk or some sort of music. And when I was meditating last night, I felt like I was catching glimpses of it here and there and close by. You know this place better than I do. Where do you think we should start looking? Do you think that's a solid lead? I defer to your judgment since you know the place better than I do.
Well, every port has a log, and perhaps we could requisition the reports for each port.
You can also roll streetwise.
Also roll streetwise.
Can we, though?
I get to remove
I'm
2
not saying you
setback
have to.
die from streetwise checks. Yeah, I want to roll streetwise.
Yeah, I'm not going to be very helpful with that.
A boost die, because I've been on Cloud City for a couple of months.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
What's the difficulty?
There's knowledge checks would work too, because essentially we're checking Cloud City for what makes sense. This would be, honestly, I think this is an average check.
So 2 purple?
Yeah. I think that there's probably a setback die in there for the fact that Lodee wouldn't have necessarily spent a lot of time in the bad part of town while establishing the Jedi Temple here. So it's a little more underworldy of what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Rolling dice. Well, that was 2 advantages.
How would you like to spend your advantages?
That is an excellent question.
You can know the general part of town where we might want to go, rather than a specific part of town.
Yeah, like, I don't know the specific port to go to, but I at least know, like, maybe what level.
You know of an underground music scene on a certain level?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So while Cloud City is still being established as the major city that it will become in a couple of 100 years' time, and the infrastructure has been built, the city still needs to be filled, and so there is, even stronger than Coruscant, there is a distinct tier level of workers versus upper class versus all the distinctions that you would find in such a city. And on the lower levels, there's a tavern. We'll just say it's Wutrid's Tavern, another Ugnaught who caters to all of the rough and tumble gas miners and mechanics, the people more or less, as one would say, in the trenches of the operation that's getting up and going. And so it's kind of a rowdy place to go and hang out. They're not necessarily known for anything untoward, but they certainly would be the closest thing that Lodee knows to go and look for.
I think we can start our investigation by going to this tavern that I know of.
Well, all right then. Let's do it.
Okay, so I guess we get ourselves all freshened up, eat breakfast, see to the vector first, because going to a club first thing in the morning doesn't seem like you'd really get any real answers that way.
I would assume you know a mechanic or two around town.
Yeah.
I think with the relationship that the Jedi is establishing here with the O'Donnells, there's somebody taking a look at that vector and watching over it for you. You guys check in. There's no particular issues or anything like that. You know, the spanner cross modulator and the hyper gum tubes are all gunked up and whatnot, but it's an easy fix. So your mechanics got you covered there.
It's mostly cosmetic.
It's mostly cosmetic.
Great. I mean, it did fly here. Okay, so yeah, so we will spend the morning doing stuff around the temple that needs to be done. If there are any projects that Lodee's working on that could use a second pair of hands,
there are so many crates that need to be unpacked.
Oh, great! Okay. So Kel helps unpack crates for the morning before they head down.
We'll go in the training room and we'll like put out the mats and put up the nice little wall hangings and the workbenches and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Lovely.
And Lodee can talk off Kel's ear about like the plans that she has here. See, this temple is mostly an outreach temple, so it's meant to sort of widen the scope of the people who live here in Cloud City, of their idea of the Jedi and who we are and what we do. And they can come and visit the temple and we can give them demonstrations and just sort of increase the goodwill.
Do you have any programming planned? I can help write some curriculums if you want.
Well, you know, everyday folk are always so fascinated by the vectors and by our lightsabers, of course. So if I could get just a few more pilots, then we can do some really cool displays. But it's not all, you know, dazzle. It's also meaningful work.
I hear pretty often out here on the frontier people know about the Force, but they don't know about the Jedi. Any local Force traditions or anything? It would be pretty interesting to me if there were.
Lodee pulls out her datapad and she, you know, types that in. That would be very cool. There are several cultures that do have their own Force traditions or mythology around it. And that would be interesting to see if that's the case in this sector as well.
Right. Yeah, I'd be interested to find out more about that. Andrew, we're just going to have a conversation for this whole thing. And
just
you're not going to get
walking through Cloud City.
Yeah.
I'm happy to wipe to Wutrid's Tavern whenever you guys like, but I love what you're saying, so I'm just listening now.
Yeah.
I mean, if you guys want to identify a Force culture and you want to take off and you want to go somewhere else, we can go somewhere else. We haven't even gotten to the modular mission yet.
I figured. All right. Well, I think we've got everything unpacked now. This place is looking pretty good.
Thank you. And it's amazing what you can accomplish with another set of hands.
Yes, it is. Shall we head out?
Yes.
And there's a screen wipe, and the time of day passes. What time of day would you like to arrive at Wutrid's
Mid-afternoon?
Mid-afternoon?
Late afternoon.
Late afternoon.
Yeah, it's when it's still only like mostly the regulars before all the other people show up.
Yeah. So, standing outside of Vutridge, you guys are in a part of Cloud City that caters to the Ugnaught population here. So this under part of the city is lower roofs and spaces and things along those lines. They're not super small. I mean, nobody wants to just be able to reach up and touch the roof. Lodee might be able to do that, though. And built within one of these corridors, there is, Cloud City being so new, everything's shiny and bright, and, the orange and purple tones of the planet find their way into the metals and paintings of the siding for this place. But there's a spot where it kind of goes all black. There's like this almost inky blackness of a rectangle that is the entryway, and more or less painted on the side, like hand painted with a paintbrush, is Wutrid's Tavern. You have a couple of Ugnaughts arm in arm wandering out a little bit as if they've spent most of the day at Wutrid's, and there's a trickle of other Ugnaughts heading in. It's just past shift change, and so the evening crowd that's going to come isn't off yet to make the place packed, but there's still pockets of regulars strewn out about the tables and all of that. There's, of course, a stage where the music takes place, and on the other side of it, in the back, is the bar where Wutrid stands.
Is there any particular reaction when two Jedi walk in?
Duck in. Watch your head.
I'm fine.
I think that there is very little reaction at all to, because I don't think the whole clientele in here is Ugnaught. Even though that's this part of town, there's still a smattering of other species, little pockets here and there of humans and other humans and other species names that elude me at the moment. But
So
while the
it's
place
not
isn't
as
packed,
short that we have to duck in.
so the doorway is probably 5 foot tall. So
Just a little.
the humans have to kind of
Short duck under.
under it a little bit, but the it's not like you're hunched over the whole time. When I say that it's like small and catered and all of that, it's the spaces between the tables, the chairs, the things along those lines are a little more cramped, a little less easy to move about. And by and large, I would say that this would be like any Western saloon on the edge of the known world. It's everybody's minding their own business, has their own problems. There isn't the record scratching stop as two Jedi enter in. I'm not sure that the influence of the Jedi has reached this far for that to be a moment of pause.
I'm going to head up to the bar and see if I can talk to our bartender friend.
Okay. So Wutrid the Ugnaught is cleaning a glass as you would expect him. He's got, I don't know if tailored is the right word, but he's done up kind of nice. He's got a little button-up shirt, vest on. His sleeves are rolled up, and he's got the little arm guards that help keep it up. He looks like a good saloon tavern owner. He looks up at Kel and is,
"What can I get you?"
Hey there. Kel takes a seat. What's good?
Well, we have the special. Then we got some
and kind of eyes you.
Algerian mead. And then there's Corellian whiskey, of course. What do you like?
I've been around. I've tried just about everything. Why don't you grab me a glass of whatever he's drinking? Points down the bar at someone else.
And you're pointing at another Ugnaught, I think, who's by himself at the end, and he's got just a standard fare-looking beer in a big glass cup. It's got a bunch of foam to it.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, suit yourself.
and he reaches out and starts to pour it for you.
It's a nice place. It's your place?
Yeah, I found it. It's mine.
Oh, law of finders keepers. I respect that.
Well, they were planning on boarding up the place and making it some kind of conduit or something like that, but I got here first, and everybody seems to love the place, and I'm just happy to be here, just doing what I love.
That's great. Say, you look like a smart fella. You, ever see anything strange going on around these parts?
Strange? What do you mean?
Loud music, masks, weird parties, that sort of thing?
Well, we pretty much have loud music here every night.
I mean, like unusual violence.
And
Anything
everybody's
like
got to let off a little steam once in a while.
I mean, I'm not a cop. Don't worry about that.
I was going to say, you look a little clean for this area, but, I've got some bands in, I've got some bands out. I mean, there's kind of a new band that came in. They were kind of rough music, headbanging. It's really good.
All right, yeah. My friend and I are just looking for something fun to do after hours.
Well, if rec punk is your thing, these guys got it for you.
Rec punk, huh?
Yeah, rec punk.
Yeah, sounds like my kind of music.
He slides the beer over to you.
Kel takes a drink. What does it taste like?
I think it tastes, we definitely classify it as kind of the weaker side.
Yeah, it tastes kind of like nothing.
Yeah, it doesn't taste, it's got a lot of foam on it, and just enough bitterness to feel like it has a flavor.
Okay. Oh, thanks for the drink. You take credits. I got Whoopoopi. I got Mon Calamari Flan. What do you take here?
Whoopoopi's fine.
All right. He slides a couple Whoopoopi across the counter. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Raises the drink to him and stands up.
I think you see quite a bit of Whoopoopi when he opens the till and drops it in. What's Lodee up to while Kel's gathering information from the bar?
I mean, she was right there at the bar with him. I was totally expecting to get a drink order too, and kind of disappointed when she did it.
Kel turns. Oh, sorry, didn't order you anything. I didn't know you were standing there.
I guess I am kind of quiet.
So I take it you heard all that.
Uhtred wanders over and is...
Can I get you anything?
Yeah, I'll take some of that whiskey. Some ice and a rind of like a melon fruit.
One old-fashioner coming up.
So as he walks over to start making that drink, Kel turns to Lodee. So did you hear that? This might be our place later tonight.
Yeah, apparently a new rec punk band worth looking at.
All right. And do we just hang out here?
Yeah, pretty much.
Fun. All right. Again, this gets suspicious if we don't order any further beverages.
I don't...
I'm happy to nurse this thing for a couple hours. It's going to taste better warm, probably.
Is there, like, I don't know. Obviously, there's no plants or anything that we could conveniently dump some alcohol into. Yeah, just nurse your bottle. Like, take one sip every 5 sips that you pretend to take. And see how long this takes.
All right. I'm going to head over to the corner. I'll meet me there. Kel goes and gets comfortable.
Let's get a perception check as you guys settle into your booth while you wait. Let's say average.
What is your perception, Lodee?
I have 1 rank. At a 2-day.
Do we have all the same skills?
No? I don't know.
Okay. We might.
May I have a boost die? Because as a Mickeyan, of course, I have a 6th sense that is monitoring. I'm at least keeping...
Isn't it actually just built in?
I don't know.
I think it might be a built-in boost die.
I would accept that it's a built-in boost die.
Let's see. Species. I'm at least keeping track of, like, how many people are in the place, going out,
It
going
is a
in.
built-in boost die.
Okay, it's a built-in boost die. Great.
Yes, you may have your built-in boost die.
Did you say average?
I did.
Yeah, so 2 purples.
I have nothing to add to that.
Aye.
We're keeping up our tradition. Kel got 2 advantages.
I got a failure and an advantage.
Okay. I think for advantages out of with failures on this perception check, you guys feel through the force a presence approaching you before you hear a man kind of come almost out of nowhere. And it's kind of a young man in a jumpsuit. Doesn't look too dirty, too messy or anything like that. But it's, clearly he's some kind of maintenance worker or something along those lines. And he just comes right up and starts talking your ear off.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Path of the Storm. Today's episode was produced by Nightcast Creative. To find out more about Nightcast Creative and the shows that we make, visit nightcastcreative.com. Today's episode is also brought to you by Dicey Cantina and Erica Goodwitch. For more of Dicey Cantina, visit diceycantina.com or youtube.com/c/Dicey Cantina. Thanks to Andrew for running this adventure. Thanks to Ben for lending his voice to this episode. The seed for this adventure can be found as the modular encounter, If It Sounds Too Good to Be True, in the Nexus of Power supplement for the Star Wars role-playing game by Fantasy Flight Games and Edge Studios.